We'll start with our panel discussion 1. It's about leveraging technology to strengthen and scale BoP initiatives. I'd like to invite Abhishek Ranjan sir, Senior Director and Global Head at ECG Brillio, Gurumoorthy sir, Program Manager at CSR Juniper Networks, and Surendran M. Krishnan, Manager at CSR CGI India. Please come on to the dais.
I really enjoyed the coffee here, so let's get started, right? This conversation has to be in person. AI cannot do this conversation, so let's be seated here so that I can have a conversation with you, not your AI version, right? Uh, Bob, when Google search came, it took 5 years to actually acquire the first 100 million users. 5 years. And ChatGPT did it in 2 months. That's a kind of speed we are talking about. 5 years versus 2 months. Okay? And I think all of us are very complacent that AI is there, AI will do something, AI will happen, chalega, dekhenge. But I can tell you, working in a tech industry, my company, we all only talk AI now. Because we know the pulse, how the businesses, how our customers, how the whole ecosystem is so much fast moving towards AI, right? If I give you some data, you will get, 13 hours per week of teacher's time can be easily replicable through AI, right? I'll give you some more hard-hitting data so that you can get more awake if the coffee has not done the job. And that's what I was doing to kind of, right? So, just the US government investment in AI is $500 billion. If you add the Europe, the UK, this will go in some of the $1 trillion, kind of a numbers, right? And let me just ask some of you in this room, how many time you talk to an agent in AI in a whole day? How many times actually? Less than 5? How many of you use ChatGPT or any equivalent? Okay. How many doesn't use? Let me see those people first. Oh my God, we have few. Okay, good luck to you. If you are not talking to agent, then you might become an agent as well. So I think our life will be talking to an agent. And you won't be surprised that some guy at some point in time say that I am married to AI. Right? The kind of relationship we are building to those AI agents, right? And the $15.7 trillion is the AI economy by 2030. $15.7 trillion. India, the Niti Aayog says 500 billion only in 2025 by AI. This year. Okay. And pharma industry will save 150 billion to 200 billion in their R&D work because of the use of AI. 150 to 200 billion. All are very whopping numbers. Big numbers. Right? Content creators, good luck to you. English writers, good luck to you. Online tutors, good luck to you. How long you survive, I don't know. Okay? So this is the irony. You see how edtechs are crumbling across the world, whether it's in India or the US. Edtech companies are really at a very tough time. The online tuition industry has declined 60% in the world. But then you have examples of China, the Squirrel Learning. I don't know if you heard about this brand called Squirrel Learning in China, which actually does a customized, every child customized learning, and they have shown 20 to 25% progress in math, science, and many other subjects. So AI will become the Eklavya learning of the world. AI is the Eklavya for many of us, and for me as well, because I'm learning a lot out there, right? If nobody is there to help you, the best friend I'm now finding is the AI, right? So a lot of these things is going on. But look at this. while one side is declining, the online ed tech, but AI education is going to rise. So the topic of today's discussion with my co-panelists is that is the AI is the killer, okay, or AI is the killer because it's killing jobs, or AI is the enabler, and that's what we three is going to talk today. How many of you think that AI is a killer? Will kill jobs? Okay, a lot. Will it kill jobs or will it will replace jobs? It will kill jobs means the jobs will go out or new jobs will be created. I think majority have an optimistic view. Good luck to you as well. Uh, so let me give you another data. 1 billion people will need reskilling in AI, not just knowing how to use ChatGPT, by the way. 1 billion people will need reskilling in AI by 2030, which is like every sixth person in the world or 7%, whatever. So imagine if you are not skilling in AI and if you are not adopting AI, I can't help you or nobody can help because this is real, right? Now, Sam Altman said this thing, right? That no kid who is going to be born today will be more intelligent than the AI. We agree, disagree, but that's the fact of the life. And the same guy, few days back, talks about that how much psychological issues AI is creating in people's mind because invariably the agent talking to an agent will also create this whole human interface, and how much of cognitive mind it will change we don't know a lot. So my point is this, that guys, if you're thinking that the change is going to happen in few years, we will able to manage, but that's not the truth. The truth is it is right there and it can replace anybody, right? And we have seen examples of this. Now a couple of other points which I want to tell you, that you know AI will be as fundamental as anything you can think of in the next few years, or almost on the it's just a fundamental thing and will be a part of the fundamental opportunities where every human will think. But think about this: how much you pay for a tutor? How many of your kids who actually have a tutor at home or maybe online tuition? It will cost you a few thousands rupees at least minimum. AI chat GPT tutor costs you $20 a year. Okay, and it is showing a significant improvement because it is all data driven, so it will also capture you the impact. So think like this: how AI is going to help humanity, people who are you know who doesn't have access, who are underserved at this point of time, but what it can actually potentially do because of the cost, the whole cost factor which will take us to the scale, right? But what is the challenge for India? Now, AI is going to widen the gap between developed countries and developing countries at a very fast scale. Okay? And if we do not catch up, if we don't catch up as a country, I think that this gap is going to be widened. But that's why a very aggressive push Donald Trump did in the very first week of his taking presidency was to announce this $500 billion fund. And he signed a treaty. He signed, not a treaty, it's a presidential order that anything for AI and you need uninterrupted power and water will be treated as an emergency service for the US. So in an emergency situation, if you need to give power and water, it will be treated as at that level for creating those data centers. So you can imagine this is how China has done with the whole disrupted the whole cost of accessing AI. And now we are moving from generative AI to agentic AI. And that's where the agents comes in place, right? And that's where the whole the artificial intelligence world is actually going to now start with the whole agentic AI adoption. So this is all, I think I had enough to kind of wake you up. And if you have not waken up, I think I have two more people to wake you up. And friends, I think it's very important that we educate and skill our future generation or current generation with the help of AI. And I genuinely believe that AI is an enabler, is not a killer, but as you know that this is right at our footsteps, we need to really be worried about each one of us, that how AI can be your enabler and adopt it at a stage where it works for you. Okay, so thank you so much for this patient listening. And now I will open this floor for my two wonderful panelists. The first is Gurumurthy from Juniper. Gurumurthy, over to you.
I come from a very strong technology background originally, but I moved to development sector long back. I was also a tech entrepreneur for a few years, but still, I believe that appropriate technology should be used in the appropriate place. That's what I believe actually. So, fundamentals should be strong in the where we work actually, be it the education or health or the what all the water management, waste management, those areas. No, where we started working in the couple of panchayat in the Bangalore rural district few years back, where Juniper wanted to have the company I represent wanted to have a smart village model. That's what we wanted to have. But I was not for doing that. I said let's set right the fundamentals first. So 60 kilometers from Bangalore, that place had more than 50% non-institutional deliveries was happening in that place. Only 70 kilometers in this place. There are a lot of dropouts were there in schools. The education, there are a lot of private schools are there around the Bangalore, the so-called international schools. So the average farmer family, they were spending 70,000 rupee to 1 lakh rupee per year for the school education. Because the English is major criteria in the rural parts of India, as we know that. So the government schools, they were not teaching, they were not focused on the English. So we wanted to focus on, I thought let's focus on those things, get the things ready, uh, get the fundamentals ready in those places. Today, we work in some 35 panchayat in the Kolar and the Bangalore rural district with the same amount of money what we are spending today. That's where I think the technology can enable to some extent. But it's an enabler, as we know, as we all know that. What we did was we used to train a lot of panchayat members, the Anganwadi workers, the Asha workers, and even waterman in the panchayat on their roles and responsibilities, what the schemes available for the people to make the system better actually. So we used to take them to one of our partner in the Mysore for the learning and development. We used to conduct workshops. Many of them they used to travel away from their villages for the first time. That's what they used to do. So, but post COVID, what we thought, no, to make the scale to reach to more panchayat, more people, we thought we started implementing the remote classroom actually places, set up the remote virtual classrooms in a couple of panchayats, set up a learning management system using Moodle, run the classes virtually. We started doing that. What I found was, I mean, these are all learning from our own experiments. So what we found that the aspirations of individuals also to be taken care. People want to travel to meet with people. It's a networking. As we all sit into the today, it's a networking, more of networking. That was missing in the technology part. So once in a while, you also need to take the people outside. So like that's appropriate technology should be used in the appropriate places. That's the one thing. That's a learning from for me. But to scale, definitely some areas it loads definitely on that. So one on the healthcare, we used to do a lot of health camps in the villages. We started focusing on the NCD intervention because the rural places also we found that the so-called lifestyle diseases are growing. The people, the BP, sugar, and other lifestyle problems come into even villages also. So we started working on that. There we found that the IoT based devices can help definitely. That's today what we are doing. We have set up IoT based devices in few places. Few panchayat, 7 panchayat we are working on the health. So we have nurses in places. But earlier we used to have a doctor visit in the place every week. Today we are not doing that. With the technology, we are doctor sitting either in Mysore or in the Bangalore, able to access the devices remotely and give the prescription. That's happening. So wherever relevant, wherever maybe the AI can play a role there all the time. Maybe AI can do much better than the job in the medical profession. It's possible you can do that. The fourth one, what I found was the acceptance. Though the technology may be relevant, there's need is there, but the acceptance from all the stakeholders are more important. We did the experiment 10 years back when some of friends with the MSP calculation for the government of India, with the Ministry of Finance, we did the experiment. So I'm not sure how many people are aware of how MSP is being calculated. Generally, any crop if you take, so they identify the 400 farmers in the crop cycle. Usually, it takes if it's a paddy or something, they identify 400 farmers across the country. So they worked with the farmers on the continuous crop cycle. So they how many people are getting involved in the crop production. I mean the pesticide cost, fertilizer cost, input cost, and even the family members, how many people are involved. Everything is being calculated for the entire crop cycle. It's a very data-driven, lengthy process. They do that. Then it's all written on paper. All the data is collected on paper. Then it comes to the regional center in the Bangalore or any other place in the state center. They enter everything to computer. They prepare a CD and send it to Delhi. So it's 18-month cycle for a price calculation for any crop. By then the ground changes are happening. Lot of things happening. So that time we came out with a solution of, the very simple solution. Give a tablet to, because every village has a milk cooperative society. There are workers in milk cooperative. There are 60,000 milk cooperative societies in Karnataka alone. Many such societies are there. We thought let them go to the each farmer, collect data with the app, very simple app. We developed a Google form kind of app and we gave it to them, collect data, instantly it'll go to the cloud. So if people sitting in the Delhi, they can access the data. So it's 18 months delay. You can do it in the crop cycle alone, you can complete. But unfortunately, the project was not taken by anybody. So the learning was the acceptance from the stakeholders are very important. These are all things my learning on the how technology can be appropriately used, but at the same time the aspirations are people also have to take up actually and how to do that. So maybe AI can change a lot of things, all these things. Whatever I said, the medical, healthcare, or the data collection part, on the AI can play a role. That's I'm happy to listen from everybody on how AI can help on those things.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'll start with my introduction. My name is Suren, and I represent a company called CGI. CGI is an IT company. CGI is abbreviated as Consultants for Government and Industries. We are an IT services company, Canada-based, but we are in India with 20,000 employees, working majorly on the technology. I manage the CSR and ESG for CGI in India for 5 cities. So today's topic is more about technology and AI. So I'll give a brief about how CGI is playing a role in technology and AI, where we have a concept called AI for communities. Earlier we used to call as tech for communities or tech for good. Now we have adapted as AI for communities, where we work with communities to understand the need and see how AI can assist them. And we work in multiple levels or categories, starting from education at the school level to college level, mentoring for someone who is stepping into the AI field, and also providing pro bono services. So CJ has already developed 2 pro bono solutions for Government of India Niti Aayog Atal Innovation Mission. Their chatbot is designed by CGI through our virtual service agent. We deployed it. It's pure pro bono. And for Bangalore Climate Action Cell, again, we did a chatbot pro bono services. This is all done by experts in CGI who gave their time as volunteers service. They deploy in very short amount of time because they know how it works. They know how it worked in CGI, so it becomes easy for them to deploy when there's a need. Of course, there is acceptance that, like Sir said, acceptance has to be from the other side also. It's not just we have some solution, we go deploy it. It's about how they can utilize, how they can carry it forward. We have seen it with Government of India and with Government of Karnataka, BBMP, which we felt how will government accept it and how will government take it forward. To our surprise, both the governments, like Government of India and Government of Karnataka, has taken it very positively, and they're continuing to use it. It's not just we deployed and we leave it there. They're continuing to use it. And from a teaching and mentoring standpoint, this is an evolving space. No one can tell that I know everything and I will come teach you. No. So what we tell our experts is, while you learn, you teach. So it becomes more, when you teach, you learn more. You try to research more, you try to bring in more concepts. So our mentors or our experts in CGI constantly tutor young students, be it at school or be it at college, to in the concepts of AI. How can we simplify it? How can we enable both for us as well as for the communities? And we this year we have committed to enable 15 non-profits in the space of AI. Purely in AI, how can we enable? It's a project that we have taken. There are still slots open for non-profits to apply for it and see how AI, we call it as You tell us what's your problem, and if you feel AI can enable it, we are there to support. Don't ask us what solution we have and we come and deploy for you, and you just keep it for namesake. Not that way. You come up with problem statement. You tell us how AI could enable. Of course, experts are there to guide and help, but that's a commitment from CJ that we have taken up. And while I was giving introduction about myself, I did my master's in computer application. Fortunate or unfortunate, I did not continue in the computer field or in the technology field. I worked in the technology field for 8 years. Then my passion took into volunteering, and then into managing volunteering for corporate, to CSR, to ESG. Now in this space for a decade, almost I started my journey in 2015, and now I handle the community space, and how can I enable community with technology. That's more focus.
Thank you both of you. And as we are moving toward agentic AI, we want all of you to be our agent for this panel discussion. So now we are opening this straight away for inputs from all questions, both from this group, so that we all can be a part of this forum, right? So anybody has any input? Yes, sir.
I will take the first question maybe.
Huh?
He was talking about AI for non-profits. No?
We will come
I
back.
request him to elaborate
sure.
on that maybe later.
Okay. Uh, okay, please go ahead.
My name is Jay Sudan, founder of a startup called Deep Vision Tech. We provide solutions for deaf, hard of hearing, and speech impaired community. It's an automatic interpreter that interprets. So we work with a lot of NGOs to implement our solution. I have two questions for you and one request actually. So one challenge that we face normally is, of course, implementation. We being a tech startup, we partner with NGOs for on-the-ground implementation in schools, rural schools, etc., to give our solution for deaf kids to learn in sign language. The challenge is, because we're a small startup, working with NGOs means getting the CSR funding via NGOs, and you know how much percentage goes for them and then how much comes to us. That's a challenge. I don't know if there is a way we startups like us, assistive tech startups, can work directly with CSR to see how we can collaborate and directly implement. That's number one. Number two question is, even if we go and implement in the rural areas, maybe in a few months' time, they stop using it. So continuously monitoring whether they're using the solution or not, and then sort of continuously supporting them becomes a big issue. And hence the monitoring and maintenance becomes a big issue. Can CSR team help us in some way or the other with respect to continuous monitoring and helping? Yeah, these two are the...
Thank you. So as I said, it's an agentic AI. Your question has to be about this session. Then only the AI will answer you. Thank you. Next question, please. Yeah. And we will take that question as well. Yeah.
Krishnan from Sri Sathya Sai Premarpitam Foundation. So we talked about AI and in education also. See, India has a very severe problem, which is like large number of students, and the quality of teachers needs to be vastly improved. Like there is a huge gap there, and that's probably an opportunity for us to work, contribute, and help bring up, right? What do we think in terms of AI's contribution can be towards this, and how do we take it forward?
Sure. I'll have some specific examples, and I will also bring something. Anybody else before we take a yeah, please.
So I have a related question. What Mr. Abhishek said, and also what Mr. Gurumoorthy just spoke about, the areas where he is working on, and the last question also. So I think when you say that when we are talking about replacing teachers with AI agents, I think we are I may belong to the old school, but I think we are trending on very dangerous path. The reason being is the the very character of an organic, no, I'm sorry to use this word, but then the synthetic teacher and organic teacher, is coming into play very, deeply. So, I mean, we are going to miss a mentor, a facilitator, a role model, a motivator, all these aspects when you talk about agents, right? And especially the kind of work which Mr. Gurumurthy said, they're teaching, to rural children, they're bridging the gap, right? And I think you can do it only with teachers who have this motivational quotient in them, this emotional quotient in them, understand students' issues, cultural issues, and then, I don't think, you know, so I think this is a thought that I had. Maybe you can address this question. And
So let's address few of this. Otherwise, it'll be too many questions for AI to handle at one glance. So let me start with. I'm also myself an educator. I teach at 5 business schools in India. Um, we all crib na that when I was a kid, we to the respect we used to give to the teachers, how things have changed. Now we are buddies. We are no longer a teacher and student. We are a facilitator, right? So things always evolve over the every generation, right? It's not about somebody replacing you. It's about are you, you know, basically using AI for your good to making you as a better teacher. I'll give an example. A lot of teachers we support in Karnataka, we have now tied up with Microsoft, and we are actually giving them a tool which is a free of course on the AI, on the Chat GPT, which help them to prepare lesson plans. We have gone to teachers in government schools in Karnataka and training teachers how to use AI for your use. So the question is that whether AI will replace maybe 20%, 10% of the teachers, not all of them. Okay, but the question is who are the teachers who will be more successful in the next 5, 10 years or decade? The one who will adopt AI for the better use for it, right? That's a point I want to make it here. The second thing on the points that you said, yes, absolutely. Organizations like us and many of on my panelists will also add to it that we are making sure that teachers are getting trained. What happened during the pandemic? Classic example. 2020, just everybody reflect back. 2020 March, academic sessions were about to start. Okay, couldn't start for the next 2, 3 months because teachers didn't know how to use Google Meets. Teacher no, it's not very far. 5 years back story, right? We all were struggling. I think how the schools are not starting, right? We are getting SOS from children that we need food. पढ़ाई बाद में करेंगे, right? So we have to first think about how to get them ration at their homes. So things change, but the same set of teachers who are very averse to using technology become the masters in technology. Now, if you ask anybody how, even we used to struggle, Teams, Google Meet, there's Zoom, so many things. We now mastered the art of Zoom, right? How to use Zoom. So I think that when there's a situation, I think we are human beings are, whatever people say that we are not intelligent than AI, etc., etc. But I think we are the one who adopt things very faster. My point and summation to you is that if you do not adopt it the way it is, the racing, somebody else will take your job very, very fast, right? It's not that they won't, they will be human. Robots are not going to teach in any institutions. There will be human being teaching in this, but those human beings will be equipped with a lot of technology and AI, like a coder. Now, I don't need a 5 programmer to code this, which 30% of the work which AI can do. Then probably I can do the same work with 3 programmer who is going to use AI to maximize his productivity or her productivity. So that's how the world is going to change, right? If I tell you a simple example, my team submitted me a report of CSR impact report of nearly 100 schools, and they were preparing PPT for 6 hours to present the impact, how much is all I did, I put all the raw data and said put in ChatGPT, and we wrote, give me the 5 most impactful indicator from this report. I had all of this I wanted in 5 minutes. If that person knew it, I'm just giving an example. If that person knew it, he would not have spent 6 hours. He will probably use the 6 hours in going to a school and teaching and so that is what is the real examples I'm going to bring it to you. Not about, this will kill job. But if you do not, I think things will change. See how much aversion we had for online, the MOOC programs, and now in 2021 and 23, MBA batches who have joined my company never seen a campus. Right, I have few colleagues in my team who have never seen a campus. They straight away did MBA from a prestigious institute without going to a campus. It also happened in the same. So I think we will all slowly adopt it. Some of us slowly adopt it, some of us will fast. But this is a reality, and I totally agree that emotion, the EQ, will never be replaced by a technology or etc. But I think that's how the power of technology is, that to bring human potential to the maximum, and that's what AI will probably do. I'll leave it to you guys to add to it.
Sure. Adding to it is same. Definitely, it's not about replacing teachers. Teachers are needed, like how sir said. It's about seeing them as mentor. It's not only about the syllabus that the student has to know. It's about how they can look up to someone as well. So there, in that part, AI teachers can use AI to be more student friendly, is what I see it as. How can you be more engaging with students, and take help from AI to interact with students and teach them. That's on that part. Coming to the CSR part, like if you're a startup and if you're a private entity, then the scope of CSR is very less. While there are companies which works with private limited, but I'm telling in general the scope is less. But if you're a startup and you're a Section 8 company, then the scope is there for you to directly work with. So the project that I mentioned, we work with a startup who supports nonprofits. So the 15 nonprofits that we are going to impact through AI is through a startup. Where the startup is going to be in touch with all these NGOs to enable them. They do the project management. They do the bridge. They be the bridge between us and the non-profits, getting the problem statements and giving solutions. Yes, there is scope for startups. And coming to your continuity of how can rural continue to use the technology is up to the non-profits. And that's where corporates can help non-profits, maybe define it as a project, take it for next 3 years. How can you keep the technology in the rural places and help them, because they cannot immediately adapt to it and continue. Someone has to be there. So non-profits and startup have to play a major role in continuation. But for that, funding can be from corporate if you define it as a project. Say a rural place or rural project needs AI, you define it as next 3 year project where AI is a component to it, and you have the continuous monitoring for it. So that way you can enable them using it as well.
I agree with you, both of you, on that. So, and so NGO, you have to work with the non-profits only. There's no other choice for the startups to take any initiatives in the any place for the CSR. I mean, talking about what the commander said, no? So I echo with him. So on the lived experience cannot be replaced with the AI. That's where the teachers come into place. There, I mean, the examples, whatever they come with whatever the people they talk about, the particularly the non-science subjects, no, social sciences, where the lived experience are more important. Go in and work with the Adivasis, go in and work with the marginalized communities, go in and work with the LGBT community. Those things can only from the lived experience. Maybe AI will learn those things over the time. That's where the difference between the humans and the AI will come into picture, I feel. That's one thing. And the access to technology for the people. Today, what we found even during COVID time, even in the Bangalore slums, urban slums, one student used to have one, 6 students, 7 students used to have one mobile phone. You used to go through the first take the attendance first. Then they will go through the lessons in parallel. First, 6th standard student will use it for 10 minutes. 7th standard student will use for 10 minutes. And then they were doing it. I've seen it in all the slums in Bangalore actually. So that was a problem. What we used to do, we used to send the lesson to the WhatsApp to somebody, and they will carry the phone to the every household in the villages. They will ask them to prepare the vote sheet and give it back. That's how they were doing it. That's a bigger problem even today in technology in India. We have to consider those things also.
Sure. So I think, from our organization perspective, in fact, we have hired 50 teachers this year in different government school. They are in addition to the teachers which are appointed by the government. And the biggest impact we have seen on any project across all of the CSR project was the highest one of these teachers. To give you an example, around 20 schools in Hoskote, we appointed a teacher for a remedial program every day, 2 hours. They will teach the student, and they were all C and D graders. So we didn't pick up the toppers; we pick up the last two grades. And I have to tell you that after a 1 year of all teaching, mentoring, and all of those, 50% of the population, 50 to 60% of the student cohort has has moved toward the left, which is A and B grade, right? So I'm a firm believer that human interactions is never going to. Now, how do we amplify that? That's where. So we took all these teachers AI training, in the beginning of the year. How can you make it these 2 hours very productive, very engaging? For a person, even to make an subject interesting, why a child doesn't learn in a class? I mean, if you go to the government school, like I have gone to hundreds of them, every single government school has a shortage of teachers. That's a reality. They need more teachers. And that's why organizations like us or other CSR firm are adding teachers, right? They have, and the second the biggest problem is the way they are teaching is also a challenge, right? They're not interested, right? If you all recall, when we used to go started our schooling, all of us used to cry, the small kids. Now the newer generation kids, when they go to play school, they happily go, right? Just recall our times, 20, 30 years back, because the schools are making it very interesting. That's where the AI will play a role. How do you design, like I'm going to teach about solar system today. Hey, how I can make it interesting, what questions I can use chat GPT, right? I need to kind of create a questionnaire. I don't have to waste my time, right? I teach in business school with my this whole thing. I need to create a quiz. I don't go to, I don't spend my time. I just give questions and then a quiz is created. And it's already uploaded in the platforms which we. So the lot can you do? Impact assessment. I just talked. A biggest thing can do duplication of projects. Like all of us CSR are doing multiple schools project. If you go to Whitefield, there won't be any wall left without a logo. Right? So, GD also. So, like, there are more, logos than the actual work. I mean, not demeaning anybody per se, but the point is that we can actually, what blockchain couldn't do, actually AI can do now, right? Because we all are feeding to AI. Every single thing you are feeding to AI. And by the way, recently you would also must have read or heard that whatever you are searching on AI can be legally go against you because everything is getting tracked, right? So be mindful of that also. That is not that AI is not tracking all of us. So that's irony with this. But the whole thought process of this panel was not to take a side of AI, but to make you feel that what AI, how I'm disrupting, trying to disrupt all of you with different thoughts. That's what AI will do in our life, right? With this, we'd like to thank all of you for patience listening. And if there is a final comments, I will leave it to both my panelists to take a minute and probably close it. Yeah.
No, thank you for the opportunity. But one last thought is, while we tell about AI as artificial intelligence, for the communities, I feel it has to be accessible intelligence. So, how do we take AI for the communities which could benefit at large is something we will have to think, both from students, academics, corporates. If everyone can think, while we do it for profit, while we do it for a benefit, that's all okay. But while we do that, can we also extend that for a larger good is something I would like to leave the room with.